there are some situations when I'm asked to do something I've never done before. I literally start learning it from scratch, and this experience helps me in future projects. We have one saying in Russian: "Глаза боятся, а руки делают." It means sometimes your eyes are afraid of amount of work, but your hands just do it.
I always like to start the podcast episodes by a quick story of how the guest has provided for me. And we've got a 2-for-1 special today with Max and Nick joining me. And Max, you have provided for me in a number of ways by helping to build the Become a Provider podcast brand. And you are an artist, a graphic designer, and we connected on a freelance site that who would have thought that we'd be talking today? So thank you so much for your beautiful designs and coming up with the look and the feel of the podcast. And thank you for being willing to go from the artist canvas to the podcast guest today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. And so Max, you have invited Nick, a communication specialist whom you work with as well, because while you speak beautiful English and we've had a chance to talk today, you wanted Nick alongside you. And so Nick, welcome to the show as well.
Thank you for this opportunity, for being a part of this podcast. And I hope that I will just support Max and say quietly that everything is fine. He's doing well, and to make him calm down and say the thoughts he has.
I will blink once if I need any help.
So Max, I would love to know the moment that I knew that you were an artist and not just a graphic designer was when I posted a job. My wife and I, as the listeners of this podcast know, we became cattle farmers and we wanted to like to create this brand around it. And some graphic designers told me they could just like make a cow. And, you know, it's just not exciting. And then, but we said, oh no, we want to like have this design be unique and something that looks like the back of our house goes into this field with the cows. And then for you took this image and sketched it out by hand and made it beautiful. And I can't wait to have all this as part of our podcast show notes. So I guess, first of all, just give the listeners an understanding of how did you become so passionate about graphic design? Where did the journey start for you?
I like to create things which are only in my mind. First of all, we have to define graphic design as a work and graphic design as a, probably we could say, hobby, as not all graphic design, which I do, I like. Some of it just regular work with everyday tasks, which are not very interesting, what client want. Usually this kind of clients already knows what they want, and they want me to create it without asking my opinion about it. So basically they don't know Photoshop, and I'm the one who can help here. Also, there is a graphic design work where I train my skills, bring my ideas into the art, and where I can create something unique. Of course, that is what I like doing and why I do it. Some of the things I do I like, and some of them not. Probably it's the same in any other spheres. We have advantages and disadvantages. I like looking through my previous works, which I made a long time ago, and see these ideas in them.
And that's what I appreciate about you, is that you didn't just take my idea and do exactly that. You made it your own, right? And so I don't think we mentioned, so you guys are in Ukraine. Like, what is life like in Ukraine?
So Ukraine is located in the Eastern Europe. Also, there are two seas, the Sea of Azov and the Black Sea. And also we have mountains. Ukraine is one of the biggest countries in Europe, especially in eastern part, except Russia.
So what's the local cuisine in Ukraine?
Ukrainian borscht. Yes, borscht.
What is that?
It's very Ukrainian.
Red soup.
Red soup, yes. So there is beetroot, cabbage, potatoes, chicken or pork meat. This is probably the main part of our cuisine, and a lot of families here make their children eat soup every day. Yes, and they think that if a child doesn't eat this kind of soup, he must be unhealthy, or
Won't grow.
or this child won't grow. So I know that Max used to live in the countryside. As for me, this is one of the main parts of his childhood and the nature, where he could find the inspiration for his work. Maybe he can tell us more about his childhood and living in the countryside in Ukraine.
Yeah. What's it like growing up in Ukraine in the countryside, Max? Because I remember when you said you were working on the farm, you said, "Oh, I grew up in this kind of environment." So yeah, tell us about that.
In my childhood, I used to live in the countryside, as Nick said. I didn't have many friends, so I spent my time on my own in the nature, strolling in the forests and fields, swimming in the river. I saw the beauty of the nature, and that's why I know how to make beautiful things. This experience helped me to understand a lot about the balance, about the background and foreground, about layers, and about all of these design things, because I could see a natural environment. I tried to pay attention to small details. So of course, I didn't realize everything, but it was on subconscious level. When I was a child, I like drawing. The things surrounded me, and when I grew up, I learned about Photoshop and started translating tutorials into Russian, and that was how I improved my skills in graphic design. Since my childhood, I've been really imaginative. That's why I started drawing different creatures from fairy tales first, and then the creatures which I saw in my mind. Actually, I was a big fan of mermaids.
And when Max started communicating with you, and he found that you need the
logo for a farm,
for farm logo,
yeah.
He was really excited to do this task, because it's very artistic and very close
to my hometown.
Yes, this thing is very close to his hometown. And actually now we live in Mariupol. It's a quite big city for Ukraine. There are about 400,000 people. So it's a big city, very crowded, a lot of traffic. And sometimes we miss nature, we miss quiet places with no people, where you can just sit and relax and think and rest. And when Max was drawing logo concepts, it made him actually excited, and he was relaxing at the same time, dreaming about the nature and about his home village and countryside.
Well, it was beautiful. It turned out beautifully. And then we've done many more projects, from the cattle farm logo to now. It's so fun because now you are redesigning and reimagining my podcast, which is going to be so fun to spotlight you, finally, the man behind the scenes, with all the work you've done in making this beautiful podcast design. And so I'm excited to just be on this journey, because I think it shows how, as I try to provide for others with the podcast, there's so many people providing for me to make it happen, right? And you in the design. And so Max, who provided for you along your journey of becoming an artist? Was it a mentor, a friend? Who really helped you make that jump from just a hobby of sketching out mermaids on your own to then saying, this is my profession, I want to do this?
Actually, as a child, I didn't have special mentors or people in my life who helped me to become an artist I'm today. Everything I've known for now, I learned by myself. It's my own experience. They are my ups and downs, the things that were successful and failures. And going through all of this, I learned a lot of things. And Social networks can be also a part of inspiration, or a place where I can get inspiration. I can see other people's works, and if other people like them, why cannot they like my works? This is also a part of psychological issues, because one step is just drawing for yourself, and a new step is showing works to other people. Challenging tasks also help me. They can also be some kind of mentors, because I can learn from them a lot, and they can improve my skills, and they actually do it.
That's a big leap as a creator and as an artist, to go from the safe area of your own eyes to then sharing it with others. So for those that haven't had the confidence to do that, what helped you do that?
It's a good question.
Well, we can say, actually, I have a friend who works in social media marketing, and actually his job is to make customers know about new brands and about new products. Max learned a lot, and actually we learned a lot about how important it is to show your work to other people. Even critics from them can be very useful, and actually in every brand, critics from other people is one of the most important parts of the work, because if you know your disadvantages, or if you know your not very positive sides, you can improve them, and after that become better, and after that you can be more proud of your work and be more confident. His idea was to help Max to start his Instagram account,
To start a brand,
to start building him as a brand. And thanks to him, we released the first, thanks to him, we released the first website version of Max Yenin website. It helped a lot to meet new clients and to become more confident. And now you actually with podcast, it was my suggestion to text you and to write that Max's job is drawing and creating things on paper and on screen or on different surfaces. But on the other hand, I recommended him to record this podcast with you, because it is a new level to build brand and to become more confident.
It's hard building a brand, isn't it? And you guys are doing it. And it sounds like that mutual friend in social media helped to give you that encouragement to say, hey, start an Instagram account and start your website. And so how did that go? Like when you did it, was it scary? Did it go well? What's your feedback with how that process went?
Actually, this
it was hard, pretty hard.
Yes, it was pretty hard, and it took a long time to build the first website, to start working on Instagram account, and sometimes we didn't have enough time to take part in different challenges. For example, actually, we have a lot of failures there, because sometimes we can see nice idea to take part, for example, to take part in month challenge, posting 1 month challenge for posting 1 month everyday picture. Yes, and we failed. Of course, and there were some of other challenges and tasks we wanted to take part in, but we didn't have enough time, or we just found excuses not to do this. But on the other hand, we're still improving, we still work on it, and we understand that it is important. So when we actually started it, we understood how difficult it is, but how important it is as well.
I think everything is experience. I remember one client in 2019. I was taking part in some of the contests. I worked on T-shirt design, print for T-shirt.
And
There are a few designers. It was a contest. They were a few designers. But client didn't choose my design. But at least it's a good experience, and now I have a nice work for my portfolio.
although the client didn't choose Max t-shirt design, now he has a very strong design for his portfolio, and which he actually just 2 days ago we looked at that presentation. Actually, we made the special presentation with explanation of different details on that in that design, because the client was very important and famous. Yes, so we worked 100%, and we worked really hard. We wanted to impress him. So 2 days ago, we looked through that design Max created 2 years ago, and it is still strong. It still can work. We are still proud of our design, and now, of course, we see that it was very useful for us to practice and this kind of work, this kind of sometimes actually very official work, where we have to make the presentation, to tell lots of things, to describe everything. So not only just making one picture and
to be a real professional.
Yes, to be real professionals. So not only making one picture and click on the button to send it to the client and hope for the best. So it was a really nice experience.
Well, thank you for sharing that experience, because that's what we all can resonate with, right? Like, you want to become this professional, you get this chance with this big league client, and you put your heart and soul into it 100%, as you mentioned, and you don't get picked. And then after that happens, there's disappointment. How did you use that disappointment to then fuel you to continue on the journey to say, well, we're not going to shut down the Instagram account or the website. We're going to keep going. So what did you do after that failure?
Struggles and challenges are in our life, and there will be more of them in future, especially when you do something new and when you want to improve yourself. We have to overcome them and learn from our mistakes. So we have to realize it as soon as possible and take everything as life experience. As for me, they are tough clients and challenging tasks. There are some situations when I'm asked to do something I've never done before. I literally start learning it from scratch, and this experience helps me in future projects. We have one saying in Russian: "Глаза боятся, а руки делают." It means sometimes your eyes are afraid of amount of work, but your hands just do it. Even if you are afraid of something, it doesn't mean that you will fail. You either succeed or get new experience.
That's beautiful. Well, and it seems like you guys have a beautiful partnership as well. So Max, you got the design element, and then Nick, you got the communication element. And where do you guys hope to build this brand and take it? What's your vision?
As for now, we as an art studio are planning to move to European zone. Yes, Ukraine is in Europe, but it isn't in European zone. We are planning to move there because there are more business opportunities, more business communications, more interesting tasks that help us develop ourselves, and more challenges, of course. We're learning not to be afraid.
Well, that's a great theme of this podcast is, even though the eyes may be afraid, the hands can get busy working and to do it. So what are you working on now? Maybe it's professional or business, but how do you provide for yourself so you don't burn out?
So if we talk about burnout, it's not about the work, or it's not only about the work. As for me, it's about free time and how I can spend it. Because if I do something in my free time, which I can remember next year or in a few years, it means that I spent this free time in the right way. It can be reading, and after that, I remember the book and things I get from it. So basically, you have to do things in your free time, which you can remember. Also, it's not about a regular routine, daily things. It's about something special. It can be traveling, and after traveling, you will remember the country you visit, new places, new food, new people, and so on. Maybe it's special dinner or special event, occasion. You know why you work and what for. In this case, when you are tired from your work, you can remember why you work and what you get when you finish work, and how you can spend your free time and money and what you gain. Sometimes there is completely different situations when you just need things which don't relate to your job, to stop thinking about your work, to stop thinking about your responsibilities, because you can go traveling, but every day you think about your job, about the things you have to do, and that's why you cannot rest mentally. And I think mental rest is more important than physical one. For example, in the evenings after work, exploring new places in my neighborhood helps me to rest mentally and find inspiration. They are not very special places. They are regular places. For example, a bit unusual building or a park with a lot of greens and so on, or a new place where there's a nice view of the sea. I can come there. In my town, there is an interesting points where we can see the sea. Also, it can be cooking, crafting, chatting with other people, and so on. So, if you want not to have problems or issues with burnout, you have to prepare yourself mentally.
Thank you for caring so much about your craft, Max, and for you, Nick, to also support him in that, to be that communications arms, because it's always been a pleasure working with you as a client. I just want to say thank you. I mean, a genuine thank you for really caring about your craft and really helping my vision come to life. And we're not done, right? Like, we're just starting. This is building something just like you're building your business. I feel like we're building this podcast and we're building some of the work that we have on our side. And it's such a pleasure to work with people that are passionate and always growing and flexible and trying new things. So a genuine thank you to you, Max. And it's a pleasure to also meet you today, Nick, as well.